3 years after the gruesome killing of an 8-year-old Chikamso Mezuwoba, her assailants have been sentenced to die by hanging. Her family were affected by her death and they feared for their safety. Today, they are dealing with the aftermath of a long trial and the fact that they had to relocate from the place they called home. Uche Okoro reports.
It happened in August 2017. This young, happy girl without a care in the world met her gruesome death. She was drugged, sexually assaulted, and her body dismembered. There were no goodbyes, nor an inkling that a fate so violent could befall someone so young. How did it happen and why Chikamso? We know that it was a ritual killing, and what is shocking is that it was close to home. Her assailant was a neighbor and came from the same community. Killings like this are said to be common across many parts of Nigeria and go unreported. For the perpetrators, luck ran out of them as the prime suspect was apprehended by a local vigilante group which handed him over to the police. The suspect managed to escape, was rearrested and returned to Rivers State to stand trial. For nearly 3 years, this family lived in agony. A long drawn-out trial sapped and bled them dry, but they kept it together, hoping for a day that this would all come to an end. The trial begins and the long, cumbersome process of getting justice. Various interest groups lent their support. In all, the prosecution called 11 witnesses and put before the court 52 exhibits. And finally, what family and human rights groups were waiting for, Judgment Day, and the sentence was the stiffest that could be expected. The suspects, Ifeanyi Dike and Ugochukwu Nwamiro, are to die by hanging. The ex-police officer John Bosco, on whose watch the prime suspect escaped, was given a 1-year sentence for criminal negligence as a result of the suspects fleeing from lawful custody. Chikamso's parents nearly 3 years after her death, and life is not the same. For security reasons, they agreed to speak with me away from their home. The fear of reprisals and death threats sent them into hiding and a life of fear. This is the last known photograph that she took with her mother and older sister. With justice served, I asked both parents how they feel and what life means after the pain and anguish of losing a daughter so young.
The absence is much, the absence is much, but nothing you can do. What the scripture said, God knows the best, and what he doesn't know cannot happen. So that's the feelings, okay? That's a very big gap to me.
Initially, I never knew that I never knew that maybe I was going to make it to stay without that my child, because she's my last daughter, my last child. These other ones are all in school. I was in the house with just her. She used, I don't know, that girl used to be everything to me. No matter how small she is, she's my messenger. Any mediator between mommy and daddy.
Well, of course, God kills, Jesus kills, and also in the scripture, who that kills go by killing and by hanging. So you can't just ask me any question like that. How do I fail? He faced the road of the law. Are you getting me? That's how it's supposed to be. Not me, versus the government. They are doing this with the government, not me. But I'm the person that's in hurt. I hand everything to God.
It is justice, my brother, it is. It was written in the Bible. Whoever that kills must be killed. Ifeanyi used to be a very good choir, choir member. He carries cross to the altar in the Anglican church. He forgot all these things and killed my daughter. He knows that whoever that kills will be killed. Even he knows before he killed Chikamso.
This was one murder that sparked outrage. Protesters took to the streets demanding justice. It also brought to the fore sexual violence and the menace this poses to women and children. In Rivers State, at least 10 complaints are responded to by FIDA, the International Women Lawyers Association.
Even at this point of COVID-19, with the challenges of the lockdown, a lot of calls, a lot of reports on sexual. We didn't mind. We even go ahead with the families. We make sure we follow up with police, ensure that these matters are taken to court, and follow to the logical conclusion to ensure that just the same way Chikamso has gotten justice, the same way it will happen to others.
Despite this, officials from interest groups admit that the number of unreported cases is significantly higher, but the prosecution of these cases leaves a lot to be desired.
Normally, immediately you hear the case of rape or defilement, what do you hear? Oh, police are like this, the way they handle it. And they will even encourage settlement. They encourage settlement. They pressurize the complainants to see that they settle, and they should go and just settle and leave this child, But with the efforts FIDA has put in, the follow-up, and that is why even when you go to most police today, they say, why did you go and report to FIDA? And when you threaten them to say, I want to call FIDA, you see them, they will step up and ensure that they do the needful.
Memories of Chikamso may never go away, but her parents find solace in her siblings.
You can see how she is. She's an angel. She's come and she's gone. God knows the best.
For the family, taking it one day at a time seems to be the only way that they can begin the process of rebuilding their lives. But one thing is certain, it will be tough, and they will lean on one another all the days of their lives. The outcome of this case gives hope to other families and victims of similar offenses, especially sexual violence. But beyond the reactive search for justice, groups like FIDA are asking what other proactive steps can be taken to sharply reduce the number and frequency of these crimes. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.